I carry a clitoris in my pocket. Seriously, look, it's a vulva. It's a little vulva. And we have a little clitoris on here. And, I'm going to do the tiniest, the smallest little anatomy lesson, because did you know that this is actually your clitoris, right? So this is a huge organ. This is not just that little bean that people think is on the outside. This is a massive organ.
That's what is back there.
And we get boners too.
Awesome.
So if you're not ready to go, if you haven't had the foreplay, if you haven't had, this 5-minute method, if you don't know what it feels like in your body for your clitoris to become engorged, because it's an erectile bed, just like a penis. If you don't know what that feels like, if you can't recognize that sensation, then you're just going to think to yourself, oh, well, maybe my genes are just pulling me in the wrong direction. But do you know that we get random erections throughout the day, just like the boys
I did
do?
not. I am learning stuff today.
We sure do.
That's excitable.
It is.
It's exciting.
And it's one of these things that, in midlife, we talk about redefining what sex looks like in midlife, because desire feels different and everything feels different. So when you know that maybe you can't have intercourse because you have vaginal dryness or vaginal pain with sex, but now you know that your clitoris is this large and it lives behind your labia, and then all of a sudden, all the grinding makes a little more sense, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
All the rubbing up against the thigh in middle school when you were dancing to November Rain, it makes a little more sense, right? Like the makeouts in the car behind the school after the game. Like it makes more sense when you know, I get an erection too. That was my body doing the thing. Like when I ask people, what's the male sex organ? Penis, done. I say, what's a female sex organ? Vagina, wrong. Absolutely not. It's a canal. It's literally just a canal. Your clitoris is your sex organ. So until you know that, right? Especially in midlife,
know that.
If you don't know it, and now we're talking about maybe not feeling as much sensation, but you don't even know where you were feeling the sensation all of your life. You just assumed it was some magical part of your body the world told you was so hard to find. Now you have an anatomy that you can visualize in your head and go, if this doesn't feel good for me, or if this doesn't feel good for me, maybe just a little grinding on the side might feel good. Maybe a tickle might feel good, because my sensitivities are in here. I say we like I was part of it. We in the sex world just got the first imaging, the first MRI imaging of the clitoris 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God.
It was only mapped in the early 90s, 92, 93. And now we finally have a full map of the nervature of the clitoris. And we have 10,000 nerve endings in our clitorises, my friends. And the penises have 4,000. So we are a powerhouse to be reckoned with.
We are. I mean, I always knew
I love how you're being so good about this, but you look so uncomfortable.
You do. She really does.
I'll put it down here where it belongs.
Maybe the color.
Well, I got my clit is iridescent, right? So it's lovely.
Like green on one side.
Yes, it's like iridescent.
And it kind of looks like a person.
It really does. It's like a wishbone, right?
That's it.
It's a wishbone.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That would have been a much nicer saying.
So this is the thing. So when we're talking about this 5-minute method that I was talking about earlier, what it's doing is giving your erectile beds a chance to wake up. So our spontaneous desire partners, generally, if they have a penis, it's very easy for the blood flow, just biologically, for that blood to go into the two corpus, I can never say it, and fill up, okay? We have 5 erectile beds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that takes a little bit longer sometimes. So that smack on the ass is really great for maybe this one little leg over here. And then but then as soon as you say, do you want to do it? Then all of a sudden
that one goes back in.
Right. She's like, no, thank you. I'm going to go back in her pocket.
You want to do it?
Right? Want to do it?
Want to do it?
I'm
dying.
We don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do it.
You don't want to do that.
God. It's funny you say all this, and we both watched The Pink Pill.
Yes.
We were really fascinated to see what you would say about The Pink Pill.
Okay.
Because again, men have all of these, things, and they get an easy fix.
Yes, for that part.
Exactly. And I'm not saying everything is perfect, but with us, 100% more of a struggle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Everything in our life is more of a struggle.
So the thing is, like the pink pill, she worked really hard, like just politically.
Yes.
She worked really hard in the world of women's health
Yes.
to get that FDA
That's right.
approved
Yeah.
and
Yes.
to get it passed through everything.
Yeah.
That I'm on board with. I am on board with the pushing of that. I'm
Yeah.
on board with the, this is what we have to do, and look at the struggles that needed to happen, and then look how it was taken. So anybody listening, go watch the pink pill.
Yes.
But then it was bought, taken, and completely used in the wrong way.
It was.
Right? And it shows such a huge step forward in women's health, right?
Yes.
1%, I think we know this, 1% of medical research is done on women's health.
Yeah.
Everything else is male,
Exactly.
right? So this is a really big deal.
It is, yeah.
However, the challenge that I have with it is a lot of the marketing and a lot of the way the media is going to spin it. They're calling it the pink Viagra, the pink pill,
Yes,
right? So like
pink pill.
women's Viagra.
That's right.
So now what we know about Viagra, the way that Viagra works, is that it allows vasodilation, and all of the blood is going to flow into the penis, and then it's constricted in there and it holds it in there, okay? That's going to make women and partners think that that's what the pink pill does. That's not what Addie does.
Not what it does.
That is not what Addie does. Addie works on the brain,
That's right.
and it works on the neurochemical makeup of your brain.
That's right.
And it helps increase desire in women who have hypodesire disorder, okay?
Right.
Sexual hypodesire disorder
Mm-hmm.
is a diagnosed condition. So that may or may not work for women. I think the stats on that might have been 20% of the people. I'm trying to remember back. I don't have it in my head.
Yeah.
But it was a significant amount of women that felt like yes. Now, how much of that was placebo effect and how much of it was actually the drug? I think we're still in the works trying to figure it all out.
I agree.
But what's happening, what we're worried, I say we, I have, I'm surrounded by a team of women, psychotherapists, menopause therapists, myself, and we have these conversations quite often, is that in clinic, what we're afraid that we're going to see is women going to their healthcare providers who don't know a heck of a lot about this yet.
That's right.
Asking for the pink pill because maybe, I'm going to get a little dark on you, but maybe they're having some struggles at home with maybe some sort of abuse or pressure.
That's right.
And now they're going to go get this pill, or there's going to be partners who are like, why don't you go get the pill? Or I'm going to get the pill and give it to you.
Yes.
Thinking that it's going to act the same way Viagra does, and it doesn't.
It does not.
It's not going to increase your boner, put it that way.
Yes.
It's supposed to rework the chemical makeup in your brain to allow more dopamine and serotonin
Would that be
receptors
kind
to
of like
work.
the antidepressant?
So the antidepressant works the opposite way, usually.
Because when I went through menopause, she had diagnosed, well, this was a whole thing about trying to get HRT. And a struggle with a female doctor, of course. Just in the worst miserable mind state I could ever be in, sweating and everything that could happen to your body was happening all at once. And I was asking for help, begging for help. You have to wait this long. You have to do this for this long. You have to, And so she diagnosed me with an antidepressant. And so that's supposed to help with your hot flashes. And so we went through that, and it didn't really do a lot, a little bit perhaps. Maybe it was a mood shift.
But what did it do to your sex drive?
Nothing.
Like, did it make it worse or better, or just nothing?
Well, it was like I had nothing, and then it was like it was okay. Like I think it got better, but I don't know if that was just my mind or I don't know if that's when the HRT kicked in, because I can't even remember at what point things got better again. And then when after a year she goes, well, now you can kind of come off the antidepressant, and I kind of said, well, why would I?
Right?
It's
why
working.
would I? And if you're not having any contraindications to that, that's fine. So many people, when they take SSRIs, it limits their ability to have orgasm.
Right.
So that's really tough, right? So that's a double-edged sword. You're going in wanting to feel better about yourself, wanting all of these things, and then they take an SSRI, and your mood changes. So you're like, okay, I can wash the dishes today, but I still don't want to have any sort of sex, not with anybody or myself.
That's right.
But so I think that a lot of that has to happen in tandem with like the biopsychosocial is what we always talk about. Like, know your body.
Yes.
Now you know what your clitoris is, right?
Right?
Learn more, reach out, let's have those conversations. And then the psycho is like, what's going on in your brain? Like, why am I feeling this way? What's my environment, right? Am I am I a responsive desire or a spontaneous desire? Do I have a lot of brakes or accelerators? And I can nerd out about that in a minute if you want. And like what's going on in that? That was another research done by Emily Nagoski, and it's brilliant work. And then the social. How was I raised?
Yeah.
How do I talk about sex? How does my community talk about sex? What's expected of me as a woman, man, whatever it is, right? So all of those things is your environment, and that is what we have coined your libido.
Yes.
I hate the word libido because people think it's just sex drive,
but
it has so much to do with so many things that's why these conversations are so important to have.
You know what's so difficult for me, and this has been a lot of our conversations in our podcast, but it's just women and women. The more you can surround yourself with more women that are going through the same shit, the same issues. I mean, we all have problems in relationships, and we all go through these ebbs and flows. But to sit here and have someone like Mary's probably the only friend I have at this age that I've really, gravitated to, that can walk me through some of the things that I'm going through, whereas he doesn't understand. And he's probably the only one I hang out with.
It's right.
Other than work and my staff, who are all younger and don't understand as much. But again, we all judge, and we're all it's unfortunate, because I think if we all came together, the power of numbers speaks so well.
It does.
And, just being out there and talking about this stuff, I know that people are going to be cringing, and I get texts as well, and what are you doing?
Oh my God.
I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to be real.
And we're trying to get other people to understand it's okay to be real.
Yeah.
Now, the people who don't want to listen, turn it off.
And
if you don't want to and you're fine with who you are and what you are and whatever, don't listen. But the ones who have a little part of their brain, and that little part that says, okay, I used to be so sexual and everything, and then, I mean, he's wonderful or she's wonderful, they're a wonderful partner, they are just amazing, but I just don't have that same desire. So where does that come from?
How do you get diagnosed?
You have to go to a psychotherapist to get diagnosed for that with hyposexuality disorder.
Okay. So that's a great question.
So it's not an actual medical procedure; it's a psychological procedure.
So I've always thought,
and not a counselor, like a psychotherapist.
That's right. So and that's actually a question that is amazing, because people always figure, oh, there's something wrong with me, or they think there's something wrong with their relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not always the relationship. It's it's here.
Yep.
And it's not because.
And it's also knowing that shifts happen.
Yes.
We were never taught about menopause. Your mom and your aunt probably just went through the change. And back in the day, they drank their way through it.
Threw some irons through the walls.
Right?
And things like that.
And did that stuff. My aunt would always say, oh my God, I'm having a tropical moment. And she'd walk outside, right? And she's like, oh God, right? And her whole face would get flushed. But it was talked about amongst the women in my family, but not explained.
Yes.
They kind of all understood, because of course they were all, or how to cope, right?
No one talks about coping.
My mom was 35-ish when she was in full-blown menopause. She didn't know. So after my sister was born, her body completely went into menopause all on its own. It wasn't medically induced. And she had all of the symptoms, and she thought she was going crazy. And she will say, I went to my doctor. Now imagine, back in the 80s, she's going to her male doctor, who's probably at 35.
At 35.
And her doctor's probably 1,500 years old, and a male. And she's going into him and saying, this is happening, that's happening. Now, she never went on an antidepressant as far as I know, but he was telling her all these things. But eventually, I have to give credit where credit is due, because eventually at 35, she did end up getting a diagnosis of menopause. When she did, she already was in full-blown osteoporosis with the bones of an 80-year-old.
Wow.
She was this far away from snapping a hip and being done with it.
Oh my
That's how important it is to advocate for yourself.
Yes.
That's how important it is to know your body. Now, my family, they don't love what I do. I'm not going to lie. You said you get the texts and all the things. They don't love that I'm out talking about sex, but I have a feeling they think I'm talking about a lot of different things. But
it's not.
But it's not what they think it is, and it's helping quite a lot of women. But she was always really open about those kind of things. And I always just say, like, whether she knows it or not, she's a little witchy. Like, she knows her body. You wouldn't know to look at her.
No.
She's very like prim and proper and all the rest of it. But like, she's always been in tune with her body. So to see my mother advocate for herself at such a young age, not share with us, like, we didn't really know. We were just children. But we heard the stories and see her advocate for herself at such a young age. And then so she went on HRT at 35, 36, whatever. And she was on it then until I believe maybe 60 or 65. I feel like I might be speaking in terms she may have been weaned off. She might be off of it now. I'm not sure.
Well,
but it had to get her through.
And she didn't go off it when the big claw came down about you can't be on this causes breast cancer.
She couldn't.
No,
she couldn't. I mean, she could have, I suppose.
I guess. But the risks weren't as bad as, and that's what I said. Like, people are, you're either for it or you're against it, or you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And people are, oh, you're on, I wouldn't do that. I'm a holistic.
Yes.
And we are talking to people who are holistic.
Which is fine. If it works for
you, all your
and
stuff.
Then,
whatever.
And I'm all pro meds, man. I'm like, bring it.
Hey, there's meds for
I'm
that
okay
shit.
with that.
And this is it, right? And so there's going to be some women, people think that menopause is something that's never going to end. So if you don't mind me just touching on that for your viewers for a second, because it's a big deal. Like, we have our perimenopause of about 15 years, give or take, whoever you are, 35 to 55, 60, whatever it is. So you have your perimenopause stage where you're going through all of the stuff, all of the chaos.
Yeah.
And then 365 days after your last period, you're in menopause.
Yes.
That's it. It's one day. It's a one-day event. After that, you're postmenopausal. Now, if you're not on HRT and you manage to get through that chaos, guess what happens? Just like adolescence, because nobody put us on meds in adolescence, you'll even out. Life will even out a little bit. Now, it's so important because we're living longer that our bone health and our heart health are really important, and that's what our estrogen does. That's what the HRT does. Yeah. But if you are going and getting your bloods done and getting your workups done and everything's fine, nobody needs to put you on HRT for any reason.
That's what my doctor
It's
said.
Just a
I don't
stage.
need to be on it because I'm on a couple of other, like, just like stuff for things that I have to be on. But she said there's nothing wrong. Like, I'm at the end of my 50s, so I'm going past that. But interesting fact, I had a male doctor and a male gynecologist specialist when I was 32. I had a partial hysterectomy, which means they took out my uterus because there's no way I was anemic. Like, I was so ill. I already had my first two sons, and there wasn't a choice. Like, I was ill. After that, I'd never had so much rage for like 10 years. Like, and then I'm like, why? Like, and no one told me, because I said, is there any changes, right? Thank God. I'm surprised my children still talk to me some days, but I'm just saying, like, you don't know. Like, that's why I said that I went through like perimenopause and menopause within a few years. And then now I just have occasional hot flashes and, not because your body doesn't get to adjust to that. But people don't know that. Like, they could be in menopause and still get a hysterectomy or whatever that they need to do medically. And maybe it doesn't change. Maybe it gets worse. And every person is different.
Just like a little fingerprint.
So it's interesting because I look back at my 30s and my 40s and I'm like, so I was just not fucking crazy. I just was fucking in menopause and didn't know it. So this is like the whole last few stages. So now I'm on a slight antidepressant, but it's more serotonin and melatonin. So I don't wake up and feel like there's a cloud over my head.
That's nice.
So, didn't even know I had that till a few years ago. And then so my partner, he's like, one day he's like, why are you still taking that? I said, because you're still alive, right?
Because you're still here.
Right. And no, the world has not been burned down.
We're not going to take a chance. I'm listening to your story and I'm thinking, I've actually never gotten my hormones tested because I still have my bleed every month and it's quite regular. But again, shocker, you can have that.
You can still have that.
And also, still have all your stuff. So just so you know. But like, I hear stories like that and I go, God damn, I was crazy when my kids were young. I would scream and yell and throw things. And I just chalked it up to being overwhelmed. Right? Overwhelmed. My husband travels 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I had 3 kids under 4. I was doing it all by myself. Like, so this is what I chalked it up to. But something happened to me maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And there was a shift. And now I'm just as calm as a little banana.
Yeah.
Like everything is fine.
Yeah.
And in real time, friends, I'm sitting here going, I wonder if I should go get my hormones tested. Like, I don't know.
It's true.
You just don't know. It's just the blood work.
I never asked for those things because no one thought you should do it in your 30s and 40s. But honest to God, I had rage issues, and it would be like, fucking shut up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was so overwhelming.
And I apologize to my children.
Oh, I've apologized to my boys
all the
and
time.
My stepkids.
Like, sit them down and do like, and they're like, Mom, stop. And I'm like, no, tears in my eyes. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, it was actually borderline abusive. Like, I'm so sorry.
Right? And I had never have screamed at you like that.
Yeah.
Because it's
and I just had no concept of, it was just survival in the moment.
It is true. But if you don't have any guidance, and this is like, and you know, we're going to wrap this up, and unless you have something else in the pockets.
I got lots in my pockets.
Oh God, she's got pockets full of stuff.
I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, but it does have to do with menopause.
True.
It is a lube. It's a solid lube.
Isn't that cute?
Can I talk about it for a minute?
It's a
solid lube. I'm going to open it.
She's going to open it.
This is yours. Can I open it?
Yes, it's mine.
Okay. So this is called the Pleasure Pods. These are the Pleasure Pods, and they were actually created by a woman in menopause for women in menopause. I work really closely with the Pleasure Pods. You can get them on Amazon or pleasurepods.com. And it's a solid lube. So I'm going to put my hands all over it, but it's antimicrobial. So you don't have to worry about it too much.
Exactly.
So not all of it. So it's a solid egg, half moon, half egg, and you cut it up into little pieces, put it in a little jar, and it melts with your body temperature. So for a lot of women who have, vulva dryness or vaginal dryness, you're probably using your vaginal estrogen as well. So that's all like liquidy and goopy. And now your lube is liquidy and goopy, and that's not going where it's supposed to go. Slip and slide. And maybe you don't want to like do it before sex. And maybe you do, and it's totally fine too. Yeah. But with these, you just take them daily, and you take a little piece, maybe half the size of your fingernail, and insert it into the vagina. It melts with your body temperature and coats the inside of your vaginal walls with this really gorgeous moisturizer. So it's only 6 natural ingredients. It's also food grade safe. So in my world, I teach how to redefine what sex is a lot of the time, especially in midlife, and how the banging in and out is probably not going to work for a lot of people sometimes, and we got to find different ways to find our pleasure. So this is such a great product to use for like a moisturizer, even on your own skin. But if you were getting like that back rub that never ends up in a back rub, that back rub, you do your back rub, but then it also transitions into a genital moisturizer lube, so you don't have to switch it out. You have your oil usually, and then you got to clean that up and then use another one. And then because it's food grade safe, if you are into any other kind of play, you don't have to transition out of this as well.
That's amazing.
Have your lunch too.
Have your lunch and eat it too. So, and I really like to slow people down. So it requires
have an egg.
Right? I had one person come up to me after one of my shows, and they were like, "Oh my God, we got a Pleasure Pod," and I used the whole thing. And I can still, like, it was a joke. And she was like, and it's still in there. Like, I can still feel it. And I laughed. I was like, oh my God, cut it up into little pieces. It'll last so much in this economy.
You did stick it all up?
Yeah.
Oh my head.
I was like,
I probably would have too, though, if you didn't tell
Well, this is it, right?
Yeah,
so
I can read it.
You can read it, and it's on there. But I mean, it stayed up there because I think mine would probably just drop. Just drop right out.
Kids, it'll just drop.
There's no time for it to melt anymore. Yeah. But so like they had a really good time with it. But in this economy, cut that up into little tiny pieces and just use a little bit at a time.
Yes.
Right? But so it's such a great product. I just, I don't work with too many products, but I just feel like the Pleasure Pods it's a game changer when it comes to your own sexuality, because then back to what you were saying, Mary, is that, if you don't know how to touch your own body, then it's really tough. So something like the Pleasure Pods gives you a reason and an excuse to be curious and be like, I wonder how this works. Melt it in my hands, touch my vulva, see what that feels like, touch my breasts, lymphatic drain, all of the oxytocin that comes out. Like, it's just so important for you to be able to do that.
It is. Yeah. I agree. One more thing I want to mention, and I'm going to move the vagina.
It's a vulva.
Sorry,
vagina.
Vulva.
No, I know. It's been a long day. So I want to talk about this because this is so cool.
I'm so proud of it.
And it just came out.
Yep.
And tell us about it.
So it's a 12-week guided journal to reclaiming your pleasure, desire, and your body. So you can just go through it, and there's journal prompts in there, and it helps you just kind of have this every week. You have a reason to settle into your body. Every week you have a reason to notice something in your life. And it's just there to help you be more curious about yourself and your body. And this is the kind of work that I would do with women in the office if you came in, to help guide you through
I think that's amazing.
Getting to know your body.
And where would I get that?
So you can get this now on Amazon.ca. I will have some copies pretty soon. And we can sell those, and we'll have those out for people as well. But I'm not gonna lie, like I keep looking at it, like I'm
Isn't it crazy?
because
To be a published
I
author.
know my name is on there,
Yes.
and like I said to Mary earlier, sometimes you've got to step into the version of yourself before you're actually ready.
Yeah.
So it's more like create it and then perfect it.
That's right.
So I'm writing another book, but I needed to be a published author, quote, before my imposter syndrome let me actually be a published author.
Right.
So this was step one, and I'm really friggin' proud of it. I put it on my bookshelf the other day.
I think it's amazing. So it's called Turned On
by Serena Haines.
I love that.
Oh my God.
Oh, so
I
cute.
love it so much.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks so
we
much,
really
guys.
appreciate it.
Amazing. A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff. The Velvet, although I called it the wrong name. It's a day for calling the things the wrong name.
No, it's all right. We all did good. I think.
All right.
It's good.
I'm Shannon.
I'm Mary.
And you are?
Serena.
And we are
Hotter by the minute.
Oh, hell yeah, we are.
Thanks for so much.
Thank you, guys. It was amazing.
My God.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Mary.
And we're hotter by the minute.
Oh, hell yeah, we are.